What's the difference between open and defined centers in human design? Think of every center as it has its potential bandwidth, let's say. Let's say it's an engine, but not all of them are engines, but let's say they are. The defined centers have a starting point and an end point of their gauge. So this is 0, this is 1,000. And this center is calibrated so it can go from the 0 to 1,000, and your whole life you know what it feels like. You know what 0 feels like, you know what 1,000 feels like, and you know it cannot go over 1,000, and it can't go below 0. So you know how to gauge it. If it's emotions, if it's adrenaline pressure, if it's the mind, if it's the questions, the opinions, the doubts, if it's the voice, the thyroid, the expression, the manifestation, if it's your heart, your willpower, your proving, if it's your spleen, your addictions, your feeling of well-being, your survival instinct, if it's your sacral center, if you're a generator, so how long can you do sustained periods of activity or not, if you are projector, manifestor, reflector. And that's basically also G center, yeah, sense of environment. So every one of those has a gauge if it's defined. The word defined can also mean colored in on the chart. It can also mean consistent. And it can also mean emitting energy. So this is a transmitter center, as opposed to a receiver center, which is open, which is white, which is undefined, all these words. The defined centers have a gauge that you can feel into, that you know where the beginning is, and where the low limit is, and you know where the upper limit is. And this makes it reliable. This is who you are. This is what is always there in your body, whether you're alone on a mountain or in a marketplace full of people. A bazaar of echoes and shadows. So, a defined center, imagine you're driving a car, right? And the car can only go to, I don't know, I don't drive a car, I don't give, what kind of a, yeah, it can go from 0 to 100 something miles per hour, I guess. Maybe that's slow, maybe that's fast, I don't know, I don't drive. So you're gonna have to bear with me with this. You're gonna realize, you're gonna understand anyways. Let's say a car can go from 0 to 100 miles per hour, and that's its cap. If you go 150, the car breaks down. So your whole life, if you have a center defined, you know where the 100 is. You don't go over it because it feels unnatural. If you have an open center, there's no 0, there's no 100. It's loose. The gauges are all over the place. You have no idea when it's too much. You have no feeling of, oh, I need actually more of this energy. And this makes it really hard. This is the crux of all deconditioning in human design, is identifying which centers you have open that you thought you had defined, and which centers you had defined which you thought you had open. Because then you completely recalibrate your whole energy, and basically the centers you have open, now you know that they're open, and you need to take extra care not to go over your body's limits. Some people have defined heads and third eyes. Some people have open heads and third eyes. The defined people know they think in a certain way, and their mental capacity in a day, mental energy that they have every single day, they know what it is, and they can feel this is 100, we gotta stop. The people with the open heads open throats, open ajnas, with their voice, with their thinking, questions, doubts, anxiety, thoughts about things that don't matter in their own life at all. It's so much harder to gauge and stop because there's no gauge. It's open, it's a receiver. The same as with emotional energy, the same as with sexual energy, the same as with willpower proving, tribal resources, the same as with sense of direction, sense of purpose, adrenaline pressure, fight or flight, stress in all shapes, in all ways and shapes in life, addictions, all these things can be open or defined. The open centers are like your phone receiving Wi-Fi, and defined centers are the routers giving the Wi-Fi or the 5G towers or whatever that gives the signal. So if you want to think of it in terms of auric energy, it's all about aura. All of these places in your body, they're organs, they're glands, they're places in the body, but they're also on an energetic level. They are centers, or what you want to call in the Vedic system, you want to call them chakras, yoga system, basic things. It's translated all into human design as centers. Genetic codes, DNA places, chakra wheels spinning, energy ball, next metaphor is, it's either a furnace, it's either a fireplace that emanates energy, or it is a net, a mist that absorbs, a huge field that listens and absorbs. So you can imagine the difference. Let's say mind field, ajna, third eye, and head. It's a field. It's like it's a field. And if it's open, it's like a dissipated mist, like you go kss, kss, air freshener, it spreads mist. So your head space is a big, huge mist, fog. Well, fog is unclear, but let's just say a huge net, a mist field, yeah. And a defined head is like a laser. It knows what it's thinking, how it's thinking. This is the most important thing. Defined head people think most often in certain patterns. Open head people, we are 1,000 opinions, you can choose none of them. Defined head people, very, very, and to say this, it's not mutual, it's not exclusive. It's not if you're open, you're only this, and if you're defined, you're only this, whether it's emotions, whether it's any center. It just means that it's much easier for you to be this way as opposed to this way, because this is what is genetically predispositioned for you to have a superpower in. So therefore, what I'm trying to go with this, if you naturally have a more defined, more structured, more gauged mind, it's going to be harder for you to think in a way like somebody that has an open one, and an open opinion center, and an open throat center, and any open emotion center, sexual center, willpower, addictions and survival, all the centers in human design. Environment, purpose and direction and love. All of them. And if you have them open, it's gonna be harder for you to focus them into a certain little bandwidth. This is what is called ADHD, for example. It's open head, open mind, open throat. because it's hard to take a huge mist that is here to absorb all information from all places in all directions, and you're trying to do this, you're trying to compress your whole open field into a beam so you can focus on math, or you can focus on a small part of biology, or small part of the human body. Today we're learning about fingers. All the open head kids are like, fly over there. Your mind space is just absorbing. The same with emotions, once again, the same with every center in the body. So my point of the video is, when you learn which centers are open and you learn which centers are defined in your human design, you will understand that it doesn't make sense for you to have open centers and for you to try forcefully to compress them into a laser beam. And if you have a laser beam in a center that has a gauge and you're trying to rip that gauge open your whole life, you're trying to make it open. It can be done. This is how people live. ADHD people forcefully compress their missed receptive mind into a laser beam so they can focus, so they can survive in this world. And the same, like, once again, I'm going to repeat it 1,000 times. The same is with emotions, sexual energy. All of these things are either a gauge or they're no gauge. And it's not better or worse. No, it's not better or worse. We are different creatures. We are different creatures. And if you try to use your laser beam as a mist, you can succeed, but it's gonna be fucking hard. And if you want to use your mist as a laser beam, you can succeed, but it's gonna be fucking hard to do so. Because it doesn't come naturally to you. And you don't have to do this. You just need to find a place, an environment, people, jobs, lifestyle, routines, all the things in your body, exercise regimes, ways of learning, ways of eating, ways of sleeping, ways of intercourse, ways of knitting sweaters, ways of cutting watermelon, ways of repairing electrical wiring in your house, ways of sleep, everything. Everything. Based on, do you have these centers open? Do you have these centers defined? Because you can succeed to use an open gauge as a specific gauge. And you can use the specific gauge and rip it open to get through something. And this is how most people live, because we live in a cookie cutter system that everybody has to be looking exactly like this. And if not, then you gotta bend this part and bend this part and bend this part so it fits. So it fits. But this saps your superpower. This saps your normal tendency for what you are predisposed more for. For example, my open throat, I have 7 open ones out of 9. And for so long in my entire life, I tried to make them compressed and specific. And I realized that the less that I do that, the more that I let them be a field, a huge field that absorbs, the more things just started opening up in my life. Downloads, people, these videos, everything, content. I've made so many courses. I have my output, my creative output in this life. My legacy is buckets and buckets and tons, a library, an archive, a well of what my output has been. And the more that I embrace the open mist, open field centers as open, the more But it's not easy. You know why it's not easy? Because the world wants you to be certain. The world wants you to be exact, specific. So when you speak, you seem like you know exactly what you're talking about. Emotionally, always consistent. Sexual preferences, always the same. Sense of direction, you know where you want to go in life. You know who you are. You can focus on things. You have one personality. I can have as many archetypes as I want. It's like Sega cartridges. My G is open. I'm a trickster sage, neutral herald of change, an agent of chaos. I'm so many things. Tomorrow I can be something else. I'm the child of light and the concealed shadow when I choose. But when I try to focus my G, my center of gravity, my GPS, my identity, sense of direction, and sense of my self-love and purpose, when I try to focus it so other people, I'm recognizable to them, my life was not even close. Emotions the same. Sacral, especially if you're not a generator, especially sacral. How long can you do things? Trying to have a consistent energy output every single day. If you're not a generator, forget about it. If you're a projector, manifestor, or reflector, one day you can have energy, tomorrow you're not doing nothing. You're not doing nothing. Doesn't matter what a YouTube video says, what's a healthy routine. No energy. No ideas about something. The more I try to follow routines, which don't go based on my design, I need to be in flow. There's energy, there's energy. There's no energy, we're just not doing nothing today. You gotta be good with that. So, open and defined centers. You want to learn about yours? I can show you. Human design readings for individuals, families, relationships, and tutoring children, especially ADHD, bipolar, neurodivergent, and autistic spectrum. I'm many of those things. And these are just ugly words for irregular energy mechanics that no one knows what they're really about, except for human design and other systems that I can teach you, that I can show you about you. Donate through my PayPal if you want to support me. Find me on Insight Timer. We do live sessions. There's courses on that. There's courses to buy individually. They're reduced from $100 to $38 on my website, icreatelines.com. Also through the website, you send inquiries if you wish for the guidance, coaching, and mentoring that we're talking about. Leave a comment, like, subscribe, ask me questions in the chat. I love to engage with the community. Follow me on IG. There's also a free Telegram channel if you want to follow me on Telegram. And there's a form to fill out if you want to join my upcoming forming community. Just check out the description. Everything is in the description. That's it. Peace, health, abundance, wholeness, prosperity, courage, and clarity. Sipping on that clarity. This has been it from the Trickster Sage, Neutral Herald of Change.